It's time for June garden tour. Should have done it at the beginning of June, didn't really happen. We're now nearly halfway through June and oh my goodness, all areas of the garden are bursting. There is just so much lovely stuff to look at. I think you're going to see it's changed quite a lot since the last one I did a few weeks ago. So let's go and have a look. We will do a full tour of all the garden and we'll start, as we always do, in the statue garden. Now, I've always said to you guys that May and June is my absolute favourite in this area of the garden, and you're soon about to see why. May was spectacular. June is just looking gorgeous, and we're about to burst into the next lot of flowers. This area is looking really lovely. The wisteria, despite the flowers fading, we are not in flower anymore. The growth is phenomenal. Everything's looking green and lush. And I've got all of these whippy shoots, which I'm not doing anything with yet. So the growth is phenomenal. It is a job any time from now, really, that when you've got all of these whippy shoots, if it is shoots that you want to keep because you're tying it in like we are, then you can tie these into your structures now. If you don't want your wisteria to get any bigger and they're driving you insane, you can prune them back now. They're actually quite sharp and they do get a bit annoying. I've got one literally hanging down right here, which is not, I don't think you can actually see that, but yeah, it's blocking the pathway, which isn't ideal. But anyway, let's have a look. Shady part, and you can really see very well at this time of day which bits of the garden are shady and which bits are sunny. And that is why I have adjusted my planting accordingly. So yeah, you'll see the shady spots. And if we stand over here, you'll see shady, 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 sun. And obviously in the sunny spots, that's where I plant all of my flowers so that I get maximum flowers and colour and just loads for the pollinators. And it just works. It just works. And once you really understand your garden, you can absolutely just transform it with the right plants in the right places. Now, what is always really fascinating to actually see in June is what your garden looks like kind of around lunchtime, and to really look at where the sun is and where the shade is. And actually, for those of you that might be new around here, I actually coach people on how to garden on a budget. And a huge bit of what I do is teach people about how to really learn and get to grips with their garden. And it is the perfect time to really have a look at where you might be going wrong. So you will have sunnier spots, you will have shadier spots. And actually, it's really important that you go and have a look at your garden at different times of day, really understand where the sun is. So where's the sun rising? What in your garden is causing shade? So I've got a massive garage here. I'm also quite sheltered by the house. So you really have to get to grips with the different areas of your garden, and then you can get the planting right. And when you understand that and have a really good understanding, you will make sure that you make amazing planting choices. And then everywhere in your garden will thrive and it will be full and it will look gorgeous. And if you need any support or help with that, then that is exactly why I started the Grow Club. I'll leave all the details down below for that. So we've got this sunny spot under the window with the most enormous foxglove you've ever seen in your life. It's about 8 foot tall. And I've never had one with 15 extra flower stems around the base. It's never happened before. But anyway, it's here. And then we have had an amazing flourish of flowers on all of the roses, which actually probably I might have even missed filming. First flourish is mostly over, so I've done a lot of deadheading and feeding. And actually, yet again, these two roses are just not filling me with joy. They're not doing well in this location. So I think in the autumn I'm going to move them. It's their second year here. And they're really underwhelming, which is why I have companion planted them with this gorgeous Lavatera, because last year the roses were so rubbish that I thought, well, I'm going to plant them as a backup in case they're not great. It's quite a dry border. I physically can't feed, water, mulch. I can't give them anything more. than they're getting here. So I think, yeah, they're just clearly not happy. I'm really pleased with this border. I've got the bright pops of colour with my lime ferns. And then, yeah, all of the iris and lots of the bulbs have finished now, but I've got my drumstick alliums about to pop up. And then this bit of the border is just, I mean, as it kind of transitions through May to September, every single, well, probably every fortnight really, there's something different to see. And this sweet rocket, which I grew from seed, has just literally gone over. The salvias are just incredible. It's a great year for salvias because of the lack of slugs and snails, which is amazing. I then love to grow this Orlea in the autumn, and I sort of plant it so that it threads its way through. So I've got various different sort of clusters of Orlea through the border, but it just is a really great way of giving you flowers and pops of colour while you're waiting for your perennials to flower. It just works really well, and I love it. And in fact, I've got to do some deadheading because there is a whole plant here which has all, I don't know if you can see that, all gone to seed now, or it's going over anyway. So I need to deadhead that. And I think we're about to get a storm, so hopefully everything will get a really good drink. Then this Clematis Nelly Mossa has been phenomenal. Such a reliable, easy clematis to have. I mean, I'm a huge fan of clematis. I've got lots of them. I've got clematis that flowers at different times of year to give me, you know, lots of variety. I've got a lovely white one that climbs through the rose. So when the rose has finished its first flourish of flowers, the clematis kind of kicks in. And then over here, my favourite clematis of all time, Blue Angel, which is in its third year and it's looking spectacular. I'll show you the flowers close up. It's so pretty, like really delicate, almost icy bluey lilac. Amazing clematis. And again, just having different ones to flower at different times just gives you that variety. But I'm really pleased with how the borders are looking. Really nice and full, lots of variety. As one thing fades, the next thing's coming through, and it's just lovely to see it all come together. And then I'm really pleased with the planting in this shadier spot because I worked really hard in the autumn to tweak this, add lots of variety. And again, my goal always is to have things looking full and amazing with minimum effort. And that's exactly what this is giving me. It looks full, I can't see bare soil, everything looks great. And I'm really pleased. And then this, I can't remember if I showed you this in May or not, but basically this clematis got really woody. It was probably 5 years old. So in March, after it had flowered, we hacked it back to the ground, completely to the ground. I then thought, oh, that's going to take ages to grow back. So I planted some sweet peas here to give me a bit of height and colour. Oh no, it was like a race against the clematis, and the clematis won. So the sweet peas have been ripped out, they were no good. But honestly, the speed of growth on this clematis is unbelievable. So I did a massive session last Friday, tying it all in, pulling all the stems up because it had just grown everywhere, just like that naughty one wants to do. And yeah, it's now just phenomenal. And I also thought, because of previous experiences with clematis pruning, that if it was pruned, I would sacrifice flowers for next spring, which I'm prepared to take the hit. However, when I was untangling, I noticed that some stems, I can't see any right now, had flower buds on, which maybe has given me hope that it might flower again in March. I don't know, I'm not holding my breath, but anyway, it looks healthy, it looks lush. Within a month it will be up the trellis again and looking so healthy, so that's amazing. A couple of cheeky new plant additions. Sometimes when I fall in love with a plant, and I fell in love with this at Chelsea Flower Show, I just bought the one just to see what I think of it, see how well it does in my garden. Then I will propagate from it, take some cuttings, and then have multiples in the garden in the future. But it's a really great, affordable way of adding more plants to the garden without thinking, oh God, I've got to buy 5 of them or you know, whatever it is. And then another amazing plant, which is absolutely looking gorgeous, is this Astrantia. So this Astrantia, I'd wanted a really soft pink one, and it's just perfect. I bought it in the late summer, from the garden centre death bin. Looked awful, and I chopped it up, divided it. So I think one plant cost me £5, and I managed to get maybe 6 plants out of it, and it's looking amazing. So I'm really pleased with that. This Nautia is looking incredible. I might do another video perhaps where I really go in depth, talking you through all the perennials that are in here. Would that be helpful? Let me know in the comments below if you would like that sort of video on here. I never really know kind of what my YouTube audience is interested in, but if you would like a look through and yeah, a chat about all the perennials, I can do that. This is Nautia. It's one of my favourites. I say that a lot. It really is one of my favourites. It's wild, it's wafty, and it looks great. Oh, that's another stem that's been damaged. I don't know if anyone else has had this in their garden, but we have got awful aphids, and I do keep trying to wipe them off. I saw some on another stem. Basically, they just suck all the life out of the stems, and then it causes them to drop like that, which is, oh yeah, this one's got it as well. All I literally do is rub my hands up and down the stems to get rid of them. Oh, that one, God, that one's got loads. Oh, it's so frustrating. And that one, look, so that's a whole stem, all because of all of those aphids. It's just, yeah, a bit of a nightmare. To be honest, I just haven't been on the ball with it. I noticed it a few weeks ago and managed to save some, but I hadn't realised how bad it is around here. So that will give me a job for another day. I need to do deadheading this weekend, so I will, yeah, come and have a real good session. Oh my God, look how many of them. You can literally see the aphids. Oh, so sad and so annoying. Okay, I need to get on that. Just giving myself another job. Yeah, aphids, it's the worst year for aphids that I've ever known. They're awful. I had an amazing family of birds who de-aphided the roses, which was great, and they did a really good job, but the birds don't seem to be interested in doing it on those plants. In fact, I can see a little sparrow in that tree right now. How funny would that be if literally he was about to, I don't know if you can see him on the branch, if he was about to come and eat some. No, he's just going to the pond. Oh my God. Does he? No. That was a bit close. So some perennials seem to be suffering more than others with the aphids. Nautia is, yeah, just really attracting them. So that is not ideal. So I need to sort that out. But yeah, you can see everything's looking gorgeous. Everything in the gravel is starting to really do its thing. I've got a mixture of self-seeded things and then things that I've taken cuttings of, so that it's literally cost me nothing to add any of these plants. Everything is cuttings. Cuttings, cuttings, cuttings. Grew that from seed. Grew that from seed. Grew that from seed. Yeah, it's really inexpensive. So yeah, I'm loving it. It's looking gorgeous, and every day there's something else to look at. And then this area, the shady border, I've got a load of plants there that are going to my friend actually. I've added a few more ferns that actually had just been growing in the cracks of my decking. This one, in fact, this was a decking cracker. Literally just pulled it up. It had been growing. So this one is 2 years old. But I've added some more in there that were dinky ones. So gradually, this is filling out. But it's looking really green and lush, and everything's happy. Those ferns are looking good. Foxglove tree is doing its thing. It's very happy. Oh, Ben was doing some sawing. It's very happy being in a more sheltered position, this foxglove tree. The leaves are very delicate and very fluffy and soft. And yeah, mine just always thrives more here, being tucked away. And I just love the splash of green that it gives. Absolutely love it. And then let's whiz round to the other garden. So our garden room, aka the old rotten greenhouse that we ripped down, has been clad and painted, which is great. We reused the doors and windows of the old greenhouse conservatory and clad it in wood. So yeah, that's great. But let's quickly show you. So we've got football goal, the hot border, which is looking amazing, the cabin, the overflow area slash pool's about to go up area, and then the container garden, which is not yet in the sun, but it's looking gorgeous. So yes, let's have a little look. This border, some might say it's a questionable choice, planting a border under a basketball hoop. However, I like plants, I like things to look nice, and I just plant things that kind of work. And these hammeln grasses, I've had them in here for years. I do lift and divide them, but they can take a lot of abuse and they're absolutely fine. And then the geranium roseanne is really starting to fill out. So almost last year, the whole lot was covered with geranium roseanne. I did, however, take a few cuttings so that I could get some more for free and replanted a slightly smaller bit. So we'll see how full it is, but it just looks lovely when all of that's purple. The bamboos that we moved into planters and out of the ground, as you can see, all of that growth at the top, they are clearly quite happy, other than that one that looks very brown. But bamboo is Ben's job because he wanted the bamboo and they like a lot of water and that takes a lot of time. So that's his priority. He probably needs to water them a bit more. Swing area, was this here last time? Was this finished last time you were here? I think so. And my random plant shelf that I need to take apart and store somewhere. But the Fatsias are looking insane with all their new foliage. I have added a few little plants since last time, just a few things just to add a bit of something in nothing areas. We planted another Fatsia in the back there, and then I'm using the shade of these borders to grow on some primulas so that I can use them in autumn. I just take them out my spring display, plant them somewhere shady, and then dig them up again in the autumn. And then this border I'm really, really pleased with. So this, if you're new around here, always used to be my dahlia border. So I would only have dahlias, snapdragons and larkspur, so like a few cut flowers, but mostly dahlias. But given we'd had a few years of awful weather, and I felt like the dahlias just took forever to come, I thought I'm going to change it. So this year, I decided, well, actually last autumn, that I was only going to fill it with stuff I grew from seed and any cuttings that I had taken from perennials and stuff. So I didn't want to spend any money on it. I just wanted to give it another go. Now, I'll be honest, I wasn't sure when it first started to flower. I thought, it's a bit of a mix. I don't know if I love it as much as having a full dahlia border, but let me tell you, this has just been like an absolute dreamland for the pollinators. And from the back end of April all the way through May and now into June, the amount of pollinators that are here all the time, you know, it's just made me realise that I have to continue having this border like this because they've just loved it. And dahlias, like nothing would get going until late June, July. So it's definitely a great decision. I have just finalised my autumn seed collections for later in the year. So I've already been busy planning what I want to grow in it next year because most of this is annuals, and it has made me really excited for next year. So there's loads of new varieties I'd never grown before, but I'm now totally hooked on. For example, these Californian poppies. They're big, they're wafty, they're wild. I have got a few odd patches where there aren't any because I do have 3 boys and they're not the best with heavy leather footballs. But lots has survived, and I just love how full it looks. And I'm cutting flowers every week to bring indoors, and it's just amazing. There's these gorgeous clary sage, sweet William, Canterbury bells. I am loving these calendula, that's sherbet fizz, the bunny tails, burgundy cornflowers, this gorgeous Gadisha or Clarkia. I'm just loving it. because there's just so much variety, and it's just giving me all of the growing vibes, and I'm just loving it. And yeah, I'll have to do it again next year because it's just been amazing. And then I can see loads of larkspur are about to flower. They're one of my favourites in June, so I can't wait to see them. Look at this gorgeous mulva, which just gets so tall at the back. It's just amazing that there are so many things you can grow to literally fill a whole border. I don't know how long this border is, 6 metres maybe, by 1 metre deep. So yeah, so much variety, lots going on, lots growing, and it's gorgeous. And then we'll head round to the container garden. All of these grasses are looking lovely. This is their first year in the garden, in this bit of the garden. I might have moved them from elsewhere. Gora I've grown from seed, and then all of my planters that I did up are really filling up. This is one of the ones that I did on a video actually, and it's looking so tropical and so gorgeous. And then the statue garden, the container garden is just looking so full, so cottagey, so wafty. Other than the pots at the front, you couldn't really tell if you're up here that all of this is grown in containers. It just feels like a border. It doesn't feel like a container garden. And I purposefully did lots of different things this year. I wanted to do more mixed variety pots rather than just doing pots of individual varieties. I wanted to add more varieties that I'd grown from seed. So I've done things like the sweet rocket, and I've done salvia, and I've added lots of stuff that I took cuttings of so that I could literally fill pots for free. So I divided a steeper grass, this Nepeta, a whole pot of Nepeta just from cuttings, a gorgeous dahlia. This is my first dahlia in the garden, poodle skirt, and I love it. And then these planters I filled all just with stuff I've grown from seed. Some salvias that I've had in the garden for years, I just moved and have repurposed. So actually the only thing that really I've spent money on this year is the bedding plants, is the annual bedding plants, because I personally just can't be bothered to grow them myself. So the petunias, violas, verbena, that kind of thing, I have bought that, but everything else is just, yeah, things that I already had that I've taken cuttings of. And actually these delphiniums, these I bought in the sale in the autumn, and divided them. So they were an autumn purchase. But I'm just loving it. And again, it's another area in the garden that's just buzzing with wildlife all the time. And I purposefully plant right up to the windows so we get to see that from inside the house. God, I've got hiccups. How much wildlife comes to visit. Even birds go in here to eat aphids off the plants. It's quite fascinating. And then this skinny border along the front, which would have had all my tulips and stuff, because we've had bits of rain, but we've also had quite a bit of sun. It's really filled out quite quickly. And in here, I have put dahlias, and then everything else I've grown from seed. So again, it's really impressive to see how quickly you can fill a space. It looks like I'm about to get the first of my Nicotiana flowers. I think that's a white one. Never grown them before. I've got this gorgeous Linaria. Never grown that before. It's like some sort of magical fairy flower. I love it. I think it's something that I will always have in the garden now because I'm obsessed with it. This Gypsophila, whatever you want to call it. Covent Garden, I think the variety of this one is. It's an annual. It's just like a little scattering of diamonds through the plants. I'm obsessed with it, love it. I can see this dahlia is about to flower, even though I don't think she's who I thought she was. Let me just check the label of this one. I'm sure that she's meant to be peach. Anyway, I can't see. That leaf's a bit big, let's whip that off. I can't see what the label is, but I'm sure that's not right anyway. But yeah, all of these dahlias, larkspur, everything is just, yeah, doing phenomenal. And then we've got veggies and other dahlias, which when a couple of pots have gone over, so I've got a bleeding heart that's nearly done, so that pot can come out, and then I will add in a few more of these pots into the mix. That's kind of how I do it. So I wait for things to be past their best, pull them out, and then replace it with something else. I've got an amazing salvia, which is about to flower. It's going to be an absolute beast. Salvia euphoria. Saw it in a garden last year. Yeah, and I've put it in a pot, and it's going to be enormous, I can just tell. But yeah, all of these dahlias, I've got cosmos in pots, I've got, yeah, a lot going on, but it's all doing really well. Oh, another dahlia that's just about to flower. I've never had dahlias in June, so that just goes to show what a difference the weather makes, and also the lack of slugs and snails have just meant that they have got off to a really good start. So yeah, it's all looking just as I would expect it to look in June. But what I will say is that this side of the garden is more flowery and more full than it's ever been. So the tweaks that I've made to my planting and my planning, I'm going to repeat forever because it has absolutely worked, and I love the variety. I hope that you liked that tour, although it was a little bit big because we've done the whole works. But it's just amazing to see how quickly things grow, how fast things change, and just the things that are happening in the garden now are already impacting my plans for next year. And I'm just that person that loves to plan ahead, and I'm already giddy with excitement about planning for next year's garden because I just love it. I just love every bit of gardening. I love that this stage in June and throughout the summer, for me, it's all just about deadheading, feeding and enjoying. And autumn and winter are busy because I work hard to get to this point. And God, there's just no better feeling than having family round for a barbecue and everyone gets to enjoy your garden. It's just the best. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to see more of me and my budget family garden. And why not add any suggestions down below in the comments? If there's something that you would love me to do a video on, something you want to see, something you want to learn about, let me know.